Hello and welcome to Kimboshi Sumo, an outlet where we cover the time-honored art of two large men striking one another in an extremely particular and particularly entertaining fashion, and today we're joining you with a mid-tournament Day 8 update. Now, we know that not everyone watches the matches live, I certainly don't, and that there are multiple tape delay airings and of course the option to watch on demand late that night or the next day. All that to say, this video will be chock full of spoilers, so if you have not had a chance to catch up on the Day 8 action of the 2022 Haru Basho, you might want to pause here, catch up on the action, and then return. But for those of you who either are caught up or don't mind seeing some spoilers, let's get started. 1 out of 3 ain't bad, and for us anyway, out of our 3 hot takes before the Basho, the Takayasu 12-win one looks pretty good at the moment with an 8-0 start. Takayasu is the only undefeated Rikishi in the tournament so far, and with no more Yokozuna to worry about, more on that later, we figure that he's got a good chance of actually getting to more like 13 wins and winning this thing. The tournament off due to COVID in his Heya, and the chance to compete against lower ranked competition down at this under-ranking of Maegashira 7 really appealed to us before the tournament started, and it appears to have paid dividends because he's really looked good so far. The matchups will likely get harder for the second half of the Basho though, but Papayasu seems to be growing into the tournament, picking up confidence and steam with every win, so I for one wouldn't pick against him making a run at the cup at this point. However, he'll have to go through Wakataka Kage, who came out of the gate absolutely blazing this tournament. The Fukushima man has been very impressive, grinding out Kachikoshis in the last couple tournaments, but this start took me completely by surprise. It's a total change of pace as he blasted Rikishi left and right, and he looks like a man possessed. And of course, Shin Ozeki Mitakeumi is there lurking as well, despite picking up an early loss and a shaky win or two. His victory over Hoshoryu today was definitely a stamp that he's in this to repeat. And rounding out the one-loss Rikishi is Kotonowaka, who has continued his blazing January form in such a manner that his 2021 injury concerns seem like a thing of the distant past rather than recent. If they keep up this form for the final 7 days of the tournament, any one of these Rikishi would be more than deserving of the Emperor's Cup, unless Abi or Takakeisho have something to say about it. And both of those Rikishi still have their matches with Mitakeumi and Wakataka Kage to come, and perhaps Kotonowaka and Takayasu as well if those two keep up their form. But they'll also have to stay healthy, which sadly has become an aggressive storyline for the Basho so far, as we've already had 3 wrestlers drop out, including Yokozuna Terunofuji, who never completely recovered from a Hatsubasho right heel injury, Ishiura, who took a scary fall early in the tournament, and Chiyonokuni, who started the Basho taped up like a mummy, but still started well, and now sadly we'll see that progress wiped out. You never want to see injuries, and we hope all these guys can recover quickly and be back at 100% next tournament if possible. However, there may be a few Rikishi still competing who wish they could be done already as well. 3 wrestlers have 1-7 records, and I honestly never would have predicted any of them to fare so poorly halfway through the Basho. Takanosho had a stellar November, rose to Sekiwake, and I for one definitely bought into the hype of him starting an Ozeki run at that point. Then came a 7-8 January with a drop from Sekiwake to Komusubi, followed by this miserable start, and things are starting to look bleak for the man with the second most charming smile in sumo behind only Chiyomaru. Things may improve for him in the second half of the tournament, as he's already faced 2 out of 3 Ozeki, both Sekiwake and the other Komusubi, meaning with Terunofuji's withdrawal, he only has 1 titled Rikishi left to face, Ozeki Takakeisho, but the idea of a Kachikoshi and maintaining his rank seems almost impossible at this point. Speaking of titled Rikishi though, Uda is always a fan favorite and seemed primed to make his push up to Komusubi this March, but that dream is almost entirely out the window with a 1-7 start at this point. However, he's looked incredibly competitive in almost all of his 7 losses and got a lot of the big guns out of the way, leaving only the Komusubi on his slate for Sanyaku bouts, but that margin is so slim that it seems a drop in rankings is almost inevitable at this point. Still, we'll be rooting hard for this Kachikoshi run, and even if it doesn't happen here, Sanyaku is still on the table for the future. And finally, Meisei. Wow. I was actually pretty high on Meisei coming into this tournament, thinking that a drop to Maegashira 3 and a recovery from January's back strain would see him put forth a solid 8 or 9 win record, but so far his only win has been against fellow struggler Takanosho. Still, greener pastures could be ahead as Takayasu's run shows us. Sometimes a strong wrestler who falls to a middling Maegashira rank is poised to take the next Basho by storm. Maybe May will be Meisei's time. But as far as the remaining tournament we're looking at in front of us, Takayasu, I've got to imagine he's going to continue this run and challenge for the Yusho. But I'd actually probably call Mitakeumi the favorite at this point, considering the step up in challengers Takayasu is likely to face in the second half. Whatever happens though, the tournament has been excellent so far, withdrawals withstanding, and I for one can't wait to get back to more of it. I am curious though, who do you have as your favorite to win after 8 matches? Are you like me thinking that the Shinozeki is just gonna prove that extra layer of class and keep it going to overtake Papayasu? Or do you have someone else making a run? And speaking of making a runs, are there any Rikishi you think can make an impressive run out of nowhere into double digits and possibly even into contention? I'd love to read what you think, but until then, we're looking to come back somewhere in the day 12, 13, 14 range, just whichever day looks like we might have an exciting tournament clinching bout the next day. Until then, thanks for watching everybody, and enjoy the rest of the Basho.